Take two. Hey, Star Wars fans and Rule the Galaxy friends. It is Joe in the pilot seat of the Rule the Galaxy podcast, chapter 367 of this crazy podcast we've been doing since January of 2020.
Six,
Oh my
seven.
I didn't even think about that. Thank you, D-Doc. Old guys like me don't think about 6-7. It's chapter 367. As always, you can follow us at Rule the Galaxy or Rule the Galaxy SW pretty much everywhere. And you can email us, ruletheGalaxySW@gmail.com. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube or your podcast platform of choice. But part of the regular crew finally gets a chance to get back together. It's been a little while. Brent would be singing right now if he was here. But you've got Joe and you've got D-Doc together for the first time in quite a while because there's been a lot of changes going on in life. So we're going to jump right into chapter 367. D-Doc, how are you, my brother?
Doing good. Life, as you guys know, has been a little bit crazy, but we're settling in. Baby Doc number 4, Mackenzie, was born on Friday the 13th. So a little over a week ago. And yeah, it's been good. It's, we kind of just got into the routine. Meg doesn't really give us much of another option than to get in routine. She keeps the house in order. Thank God for me. So yeah, it's been really good. Baby sleeps pretty good. Meg does a lot of that work, obviously, but yeah, things are going good. We got travel baseball going on. It's just the girls are in gymnastics and dance. Just a lot of madness going on, but we're back. We're back on Rule Galaxy podcast. Happy to be back.
And we're happy to have you back. And Dr. Squatch also giving you a shout out. Good to have you back, boys. Congrats, D-Doc.
Thank you, Squatch.
Dr. Squatch, it's always a pleasure when you join us here on the chat or on the show. But I tell you what, D-Doc, you've been chasing that with the kids, the wife, everything like that. I have been, and the listeners will, as whether they're on podcasts or on YouTube, they'll know I've been trying to shake things up a little bit, get us some content while Alfie's been busy, Brent's been busy, I've been busy. You've been adding the fourth child to the mix. We've been having the Southern Rim podcast come in as part of the Rule of the Galaxy Network. That's guys from Georgia and Alabama and that neck of the woods. We've had Across the Space Whale Pond with the guys from Bantha Tracks over in England. So that's been fun. We did a little collector's corner with my Uncle Matt, the gentleman who has that Star Wars museum here in Indianapolis. And for those of you who've put up with the craziness of me and some of my buddies that I grew up with, those guys, we try to go once a month and talk a little bit of everything about guys being in their 50s. But the core group, the core thing of this whole podcast is the Rule of the Galaxy podcast. That's on chapter 367. So Colton Baker, thanks for joining in and saying hi. D-Doc, we've got tons of Star Wars stuff to talk about, but I did want to chime in when you mentioned your son is he's joining the ranks of travel baseball. Now, I worked for Cal Ripken for 15 years, and my son and daughter both played travel baseball and travel softball. I'm just going to give you my 2 cents worth up front. It's worth it. It's great family fun and adventure, but man, you're in for a ride if it's something you guys want to do. So
that's the vibe I got right away, because we had off-season Zoom meetings with parents and everything, and there was like winter training indoors, and I'm like, okay, this is next level. You know what I mean? It's a good opportunity for him to see if he can take the game to that next level, which I'm excited for him about. But man, it is like what I saw someone create a word for it when it comes to youth baseball, and it'll eventually come to me, but it's just like the amount of accessories that kids want for youth baseball anymore, man. The sliding gloves, the batting gloves, the necklaces, the sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's the drip. Like it's crazy. And then it's like we get a bat, and then it's like, some kids saying, well, that's a good bat, but it's not the best bat you can get. Well, of course it's not. I mean, oh my God. I had the two kids at Dick's. I had David and Harper with me, and Harper just kept grabbing bats and showing them to me and being like, look at this one. This is cool. And I would see a $500 price tag on it and be like,
Yep.
please stop touching every bat in the store. Please.
You know, to go into the Wayback Machine that I always like to hop into on these shows, Joey, he won't, my son Joey, people know him as a comedian, as a person who impersonates people. He has his own podcast called These Guys. If you're not listening to it, you should go check that out. But he and Ben Polizzi, two comedians. Joey was a really, really good baseball player. That is what people knew him for before he became a comedian. And D-Doc, I'm going to let you know a little secret. The bats do help. The bats have pop in them. But one of Joey's greatest years ever as a youth baseball player, the bat he had cracked and we had to replace it. And everybody has their own bat, obviously. Nobody comes around and goes, hey, I'm going to borrow your bat. And his best year kind of, we went and bought a $35 bat that we had to buy real quick at Walmart or something to just give him a bat to finish the weekend. And he hit like 3 times as many home runs that year as anybody else on the team. And so, sometimes it's just, you gotta go with the flow. So don't get caught in the trap, do the best you can, but don't fret the little things like that, because you know what? It just really comes down to, if you put the time and effort into it, everything's going to be okay. So
that's what I was telling little David. I was like, all right, we have a good bat now. I was like, but the most important thing is the person who's holding the bat.
Correct.
All right. I'm like, you wanted to get a longer one with a bigger, barrel on it and everything. And I'm like, you want to be able to get the bat through the zone. You want to make contact. Like, let's just learn how to make contact and get the hits, which when he gets a hold of the ball, considering he's like a foot over every other kid on his team, he does send it. So it's like he's got the size on his side, but it's also sometimes a disadvantage as well. So I don't know. It's going to be a fun year. We had our first tournament over the weekend, and yeah.
Well, I love it, and I can't wait for my gosh. Anyway, we're getting, why does Princess Leia keep her hair tied up in buns so it doesn't hang so low? So funny. I don't even know your name there. Oh, Alicardo. Oh, okay. Thank you. That is very funny. Thank you for chiming in. So for new listeners who maybe haven't been with us a lot, obviously we've done 367 episodes and been going for 6+ years. We try to make it a little bit more fun, family friendly, us learning about each other's lives. We're all friends. And before we start into the Star Wars talk, so we might talk baseball one time, we might talk football, we might talk home life, all those things when we start off a Rule the Galaxy podcast. But we will get into our Star Wars stuff and really take off with that. One thing that I'll just start into, and it's planning. Most of us, me, Brent, and Alfie, our two other co-hosts, are not. We're all in the Indianapolis area. Brent and Alfie can be here this evening, but D-Doc's in Philly. So we have people all around the country who listen and who are part of the show. So feel free to chime in and give us where you're from, all that kind of stuff. But we also try to plan things out in advance. And one thing we're going to try to do that I think we've talked about, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, is the Steel City Con. We're still looking at that. It's August 7th through 9th in Pittsburgh. If you are out and about, check that out. We want to see some Rule the Galaxy people there. Also been talking to those other, the space whales and the Southern Rim and all that. Definitely, I think we're already trying to plan ahead for April of next year for Star Wars Celebration in California. And I know if Mrs. D-Doc and Mrs. Molinaro are in on that, then this could be a wham bang, kind of crazy adventure here out in California. Thank you, Amber. We will shut up after the show is over. D-Doc actually looks like Messi.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
I'll take that. A ginger version of him. I'll take it.
Ginger version of Messi in Philly and not in Miami. But D-Doc, tons of stuff going on. As we talked, we're going to really put the pedal to the metal over the next few months because we have Maul starting up April 6th, which I'm really excited about that. I think it looks great. I'm big into Star Wars animation, so I'm excited about that. And then we finish up May with Mando and Grogu. So I think from now until we get to the end of May, we're really going to be putting out the shows and the content and having lots of things to talk about. Are you as pumped about those things as I am? Are you looking forward to having more new Star Wars content coming out?
I'm really excited about it. The Maul show looks like it's going to be intense, and I think it's just going to be one of those things where it sneaks up on us, and we're watching it every week, and we're just kind of. I think it's going to bring the heat and remind us of how great Star Wars animation is, and it's an iconic character. We had the Bad Batch, which was a fun show and was able to mix in some cameos from exciting characters, but this one is going to be a whole nother level with it having Maul as your main character.
Yeah.
With him most obviously getting the most screen time of the show. It's going to be exciting.
Well, and if I'm looking at it correctly, everybody's kind of pumped about the new Jedi Master Echo Dio Dak. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a gentleman who we were joking around with, who was in 24 and the insurance commercials, or maybe State Farm. I don't remember. He's got the great voice. The guy from Major League who hits all the home runs.
Yes.
So he's going to play that character. Looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a good character. I'm interested in this. Brandon Lawson, kind of the inspector or cop that's in this. The trailers and the previews for this have been great. And these characters look really, really good. We're going to see, I always forget how to pronounce this, Morak, the guy who got killed in the Ahsoka. Was it Ahsoka he got killed in?
Yep.
And then the 11th brother, who was in Tales of the Jedi, I think, on the Star Wars miniseries there. So you've got a lot of things going on. Plus you've got Devin, the young lady the Twi'lek Jedi apprentice. There's a lot to go on there. There's a lot happening. And I think one of the things I liked was it said Maul might, we both might be against the Empire, but Maul's never going to be our friend, right? We have this common enemy in the Empire, but don't count him as our friend, right? And I think it's going to be kind of cool. I've always rooted for the good guys in shows, but then I found myself really liking Darth Bane and that whole series. So I was rooting for the bad guy in that. I have a feeling I'm going to be rooting for Maul in this, even though he's the bad guy.
And us getting a animated show totally dedicated to Darth Maul gives me more hope that we will see somehow in some project a live action Darth Maul again, other than the teaser that we got in Solo. Because after Solo, I'm like, they're going to do it at one point. He's going to come back in live action again at one point with some kind of storyline. And I think it's a fan favorite character, and to bring him back in live action somehow in some type of story would be awesome.
Well, when I was having talks with my Uncle Matt about this, he said that he was still hearing the rumors that Solo 2 or remnants of Solo 2 might be out there, especially Filoni. Now that Filoni's back in the creative lead, that still might happen. And I tell you what, that brings Kira back. That brings back, the Alden Ehrenreich and Glover, and that brings back Maul. So he was still alive post that, until Obi-Wan kills him out in the desert of Tatooine. So there's still that opportunity to have him out there. So that would be very cool. I think it would be great to have him back in a live action role.
And if I'm not mistaken, the two directors who directed the movie Project Hail Mary, were they the original directors of Solo, or was it Rogue One? Okay, it was Solo. Yeah, because Rogue One switched from Rogue One switched directors in the middle of it as well, but it wasn't
it Benioff? It was Miller and Lord and Miller who do Project Hail Mary.
Yes. And that's what I've seen people saying, like, this movie is so good. Like, I wonder what they would have done if they had the entire Solo movie to themselves to do it or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because Solo feels like it came out forever ago at this point, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy how long ago Solo seems, which it's not like it was only a couple years ago. I mean, what year did Solo come out?
Well, you had 2015 Force Awakens, 2016 Rogue One, 2017. Yeah, 2017 The Last Jedi, and then
And 2018.
2018 in May you had Solo, and then you didn't have another one until 2019 Rise of Skywalker. So it's been almost a decade since that movie's been out.
Maybe they were like looking at the way they were directing it and thinking this is too much directed to the 50 somethings in Star Wars.
You have to bring that up, don't you?
Yes, yeah. We could save that for later if you want, though.
No, you know what? Let's bounce around. I think you brought up a good point. Who was it who came out and announced that about Disney and Galaxy's Edge?
It was one of the former Imagineers who was working on the Tatooine land of Galaxy's Edge and talking about how it was essentially just shut. Like Kathleen Kennedy gave Bob Iger a call and said, like, hey, we're catering to the 50 somethings when we're going to make all this new stuff and we're going to be catering to this new audience, even though Batu has still never had anything to do with any of the new stuff they've created. And now they're trying to add more relevant things into the land. You know, I get some people's arguments where they were saying like Tatooine would have been kind of, you know, there's not any trees there. Like for you to make a land that's like all desert in Florida or in California. Like I get that part, but my argument is you have Tatooine section, you have which we've said it on this podcast a million times. I'm really curious how the inner workings went when that happened, when Kathleen Kennedy made the call and said we're catering too much to the older audience of Star Wars. I wonder how much pushback there was on the creative and from the parks people's ends, because Kathleen Kennedy is a movie person.
Yep.
And she's telling you what to do with your theme park. And like the Imagineers and the people who work in the parks know what people like, because there's a reason why there's rides at Disney that are 50 years old that people still will wait 45 minutes to an hour or whatever in line for. So it's interesting. She obviously had some sway and she obviously had Iger's ear and he trusted it. So that's how the story of Galaxy's Edge happened.
You know, I'm not much as an economist. I never was. If I was, I'd be a lot wealthier than I am right now. But I am. My wife has trained me to be a realist. I've been a dreamer my whole life, but she's shown me that you can dream, but you have to be realistic about it. And I look at this in these comments and I think to myself, the people who love the original trilogy, yes, they're now 50 or more, right? I mean, I was 6 when I saw it originally. I'm now getting ready to turn 55 years old. The people who like the prequels are now 30 or more, correct? I mean, it's 1999 and now 26 years ago. So who has the money? Because I talk to people all the time, and this is related to baseball. There's baseball companies who say, I'm going to promote, let's say, our tournament, but let's promote it to the kids. Let's promote it to the 12-year-olds out there, right? That's great. But how much money is the 12-year-old bringing in? Not much. He might think it's really cool, but who still pays the bills? Mom and dad. Well, 50-somethings or older are now sitting on, should be, fat stacks and planning their life out and what they're going to go spend that discretionary income. Most of them now are double income, no kids, dinks, right? Because their kids have grown up and moved out. 30-somethings are finally getting into money. They've buzzed through their 20s. They now have real jobs and they're making real money. They're deciding where to take their kids on vacation. So the prequels and the original trilogy, that should be your base of something like Galaxy's Edge. And then you add on the most popular segments of the new items. That's what Disney did. Disney built it off Mickey Mouse, Peter Pan, whatever, Cinderella, all the stuff from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Right?
Yep.
And now what do? piece by piece, they add something new. They add something that caught the world by storm, and then they're like, well, we can make a park of that. And to go along with that, I've been to Harry Potter World. I've been to all of it except for the brand new part of it. And I loved every minute of it. And did they go in and say, well, you liked Harry Potter. Now we're going to do our version of Harry Potter and what goes on at Hogwarts? No, they wanted you to be in Hogwarts, right? They
Yeah.
wanted you to be in what's the town? Hogwarts and the
Hogsmeade.
Hogsmeade. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't make me go, oh well, I've seen the movie, I don't need to go be in it. No, I wanted to be in it, and
Yep.
that's what I want for Star Wars. So I think the realism is she was thinking something completely different than what everybody else was thinking, because honestly, you get the money coming through first, and then you add on the extras after that.
Yeah. And the funniest part, at Epic Universe, the new park, they were going to make the Harry Potter section there a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them section.
Really?
And those movies did not do very well. So you have the London setting still, where it kind of is part of Fantastic Beasts, because Fantastic Beasts takes place over there more. But they made it themed to Ministry of Magic from the original movies. They made it connected to the original Harry Potter universe, because I think they were like, these Fantastic Beasts movies, they're new, but just because they're new doesn't mean they're it.
Yep.
Let's make it. Yeah. So, people can fact check me on that. I may be slightly wrong on it, but I was following the creation of Epic Universe. And in the beginning of Epic Universe, when it was just a concept, it was written as a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them land. And then it changed into, London Ministry of Magic area. And then it went back to the original Harry Potter movies. So I don't know. I think they're realizing, as we've said, they're doing things to Galaxy's Edge in California, which tells me they're probably going to be doing some things in Florida as well. And the new CEO of Disney, this is our first, I think this is our first podcast with Iger officially not as the CEO, unless you count the Chapek days, but Iger was still there. So
yeah,
this is a new era, and it'll be interesting. There's a parks guy in charge of it now, and it'll be interesting. Kathleen Kennedy's gone. Bob Iger's gone. We're moving into a new era right now, and I think it's a lot. I think people should be excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm always the type of guy who's going to go into something optimistic until I'm proven wrong.
Me too.
So.
Me too. And I was a little nervous, and I probably still have a little trepidation about, we're not a Harry Potter podcast, so just get that out of everybody's head. But I was a little nervous about that, because all the discussion, all the talk about this new show on HBO Max. But that trailer that came out today, I was like, you know what? I can see myself saying, hey, I'm ready to go watch season 1 and see how this, because I've heard it's more true to the books than the movies. And now we're going to get, 10 hours per book instead of 2 hours per book. So I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, and I'm willing to give it a try. And you know what? We talk all the time about Star Wars recasting people. Here's Harry Potter recasting the entire thing. And unless I'm missing, I feel like it's going to be fairly successful. And it's going to tie right into the current Harry Potter world that they've got down there in Universal.
Yep. And you can still love the movies and enjoy this show. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to pick sides. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we can see some new Star Wars stories where they're bringing back some old characters with new faces to them, and it could be pretty awesome.
Like I will still say there's still that chance that you could make a Thrawn trilogy and just recast and put that sucker out there, and people would eat it up. Another thing to be excited about. We talked a little Maul. We'll talk Mando and Grogu in a second, but because Project Hail Mary is out right now, and I'm going to see that as soon as I can. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really excited to see that movie. And I've had a number of people now tell me it's a great movie. But some of the discussion has been, is Ryan Gosling the guy who can maybe bring new people and a fresh, feel to Star Wars and everything like that. Um, and you know what? I'm hearing that Project Hail Mary is going to be able to dovetail right into Starfighter next year. I mean, like people are going to go, I can see him in this role. I can see him in sci-fi and action and fantasy, whatever. And this is going to roll right over to it. So we know he gets behinds in the seats in La La Land and Barbie and things like that. This is a chance for us to see this really take off. So while I'm excited about Mando and Grogu, man, I'm already chomping at the bit for Starfighter.
I know. I know. I mean, just think one random day, we're just going to be like a Starfighter teaser or trailer dropped.
Oh,
And I don't think we're going to be that far away from that. The movie's coming out a year from now, correct? It's what is it slated for May
it,
of next year?
yeah, it's yeah. So celebrations April 1st through the 4th, and then in May, right? I think on the date May 25th, I think of 2027, in honor of the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, they're going to release Starfighter. So I'm really pumped. The cast is great. We already know the director's great. We know Gosling's great. So I'm one. I can't wait to go see Project Hail Mary, like I said. But man, it's just going to give me that more pumped to go see Starfighter next year.
I agree. I agree. I can't wait. And they're not good. They can't wait till obviously. So they'll probably give you like a snippet of the movie at Celebration.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we're gonna have plenty of visuals of that movie at that point. So I don't know. Maybe even May the 4th this year they might drop something on us. That would be awesome.
Nice little sizzle, just show a little behind the scenes work and everything. And you know what, D-Doc, I never get this, so I put it up there earlier. That just made my night right there. So I'm gonna screenshot that, and thank you, Dr. Squatch. Which, by the way, Dr. Squatch, I will tell you, Tom Line is the biggest Dr. Squatch fan. He likes you a lot, but he likes the product. And for his birthday, I made sure I got him a Dr. Squatch T-shirt. So if I get him in it, I'll get a picture and send it to you so you see you got fan base. But also to go along with the Project Hail Mary and then Gosling, I love the little story that has been talked about. Tom Cruise being on the set for Starfighter, and that's one of the only days Gosling wasn't on set. Have you seen this?
No,
Where
I knew that Cruz was on the set, but I didn't know Gosling wasn't on the set though.
Yeah, he was like, one day I miss, and Cruz comes in, and is putting in tidbits and directing things behind the camera and everything like that. So that's fantastic. And if Tom Cruise is the guy, jumping up on the couch on Oprah, right? So I mean, if he's that excited about being involved with something like Starfighter, even a little bit, that even gives me more hope that it's going to be great. So
And he's such a movie theater guy. Like
oh yeah.
he's always like promoting other people's movies. He's telling people to get to the theaters. He's always hyping up popcorn in the movie theaters. He says he loves movie theater popcorn. So
Hey, how old are you, D-Doc? I forget.
I just turned 35 in
35.
February. Yeah.
Man.
So I'm newly 35.
Okay. So 35. If you want to see how crazy this is, I've talked to a few people recently, Matt, the guys at Fantha Tracks, Scott Rifen. We were talking about how, and the anniversary of the 50th anniversary of when Star Wars started filming was March 22nd. I mean, it started filming 50 years ago. So I'm 55, well, 54, getting ready to turn 55. And to think that almost my entire life, Star Wars has been around now, that is absolutely crazy. But there was a lot going around about that. March 22nd, cannot believe you don't think about it, right? We think about, the movie premiered on this day in 77, but 50 years ago on March 22nd, they actually started filming Star Wars. And they had to be looking around going, is this going to work? Are we going to pull this off? I mean,
Yeah, I saw something I've never seen before the other day, and maybe I'll pull it up on here if I can. But I saw a trailer for Star Wars that did not have the John Williams music in it. It was like one of the original trailers for it, and it just had like this different tone of music. It was really
Yes.
weird to see. Yeah, so if I can find it right now, I'm gonna try to bring it up because it was pretty fun to just see that different version.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they had, even for like Empire Strikes Back, Harrison Ford did a voiceover, like when they were showing the clips and all this kind of stuff. I mean, we look at Star Wars in a certain way and we expect certain things, but back then they were shooting from the hip. They were just, trying to put it all together. So yeah, if you find it, let me know. Not Star Wars related, but Star Wars adjacent. A couple things. One, William Shatner turned 95 years old this week.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? Harrison Ford is in his 80s, right? William Shatner, 95. That guy's still out there kicking it, going everywhere, seeing everybody, meeting everybody. I think that's great for the science fiction fantasy kind of community. That you got a guy like that who still, after all these years, loves it, loves interacting with people. So I think that's really cool. And I think I know Chuck Norris more from dodgeball and all the memes and everything like that. I never really watched Chuck Norris movies or Walker Texas Ranger, but very sad. Chuck passing away this last week. I know a lot of people were putting comments out there and everything, but do you have any memories or thoughts on Shatner or Norris? Did you ever really pay attention to anything going on with either one of them?
I grew up enjoying Chuck Norris because I grew up in the prime of the Chuck Norris jokes. When I remember for Christmas one year, I got a book that was just filled with the Chuck Norris jokes. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, they were hilarious. I mean, when that became a thing, and that was like during the era of like MySpace, like
Oh
that was when the
gosh.
internet. That was when the internet was fun, man. That was like that was before people lost their minds. Yeah, like I used to watch Walker Texas Ranger growing up, and then it was funny to get to the point where you could watch Walker Texas Ranger and laugh at like some of the ridiculous stuff that happened in that show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember when Conan O'Brien had the lever where he would pull it during his show and it would
Yeah.
just show a random clip of Walker Texas Ranger. That, like, if you ever want to laugh, just go look up a compilation of the Walker Texas Ranger lever that Conan O'Brien had, and it was hilarious. But Chuck Norris was just a cool guy. He just was a badass guy, like all American. Had the perfect beard. Just was a cool guy. So it was sad to see that happen, but
yeah. We're gonna see, we've started to see that, to where these people are that we've idolized or looked up to or know or have heard so much about or been around our entire lives, that they just start fading away. And it's really weird to think about, especially when TV, movies, all that has been put in front of us our whole lives, that some of those people are gone.
Yeah,
So,
I'm watching March Madness and seeing Peja Stojakovic's son playing in March Madness, a guy who I
yes.
watched growing up, where I'm just like, all right, this is
Yes.
very weird to be seeing NFL players, the sons of NFL players getting drafted. I had a Jeremiah Trotter jersey. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is on the Eagles. So I'm like, that's like making me check myself, where I'm like, the guys I watched in my prime of ESPN and Sports Center, their kids are starting to be in March Madness tournaments and get drafted. So it's like, time keeps moving, and the people who are a little older when I was younger don't stop getting older. So
No.
Weird.
Just wait till you're my age, my friend. Just wait till you're my age. It comes on quick. It does. You just flip a switch, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, can't believe we're already here.
I found this trailer,
Yeah,
Joe,
let's
and
go.
I know I'm sending us off the rails with it.
No,
but
I
this
like
is
it.
the
Go.
one.
Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now. 20th Century Fox and George Lucas, the man who brought you American Graffiti, now bring you an adventure unlike anything on your planet.
See, like, this is so different than
Oh, yeah.
anything I've seen Star Wars wise. Do you remember like seeing this trailer possibly on TV?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it when I was 6, but I remember, a few years afterwards catching up and seeing this in different ways, different places. And then when the internet kicked in, you're like, holy cow, that's hit something to me that this came out. But that they're playing kind of like weird aura space music behind it. That 2001: A Space Odyssey, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of reminiscent of that. But go ahead, hit that.
Star Wars.
Here they come. Coming too fast.
And it looks pretty polished, like
Yeah.
for this being, one of the original trailers of it. And it's like you can just see Star Wars in the distance on this
Story of a
screen
boy,
here.
a girl, and a universe.
A story of a boy, a girl, and a universe. It just doesn't. It's like how we say Star Wars is its own thing, where it's not sci-fi, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
This feels like a sci-fi commercial for Star Wars. That's what's so weird about it to me.
It's a big, sprawling space saga of rebellion and romance.
Rebellion and romance.
It's a spectacle, light years ahead of its time.
Like even the text is different,
I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations, and this is my counterpart, R2D2.
And then you can tell it's a little different sounding on his voice there.
Yeah.
It's an epic of heroes.
Good luck.
Spoiler alert, that's a brother and sister. I mean, there's you got Vader choking someone out
And
there.
aliens from 1,000 worlds.
I mean, can you imagine, like, my dad had to have seen this commercial, and he doesn't like Star Wars even now, but he was into cars and chicks and motorcycles. If he saw this, he'd be like, what the hell is this?
Exactly. That's how my dad is with Star Wars. He's just not into it. And I told him recently, because my dad just turned 69. So I told him, I said, hey, we need to watch Star Wars sometime. I'm like, you will watch every dumbass movie that shows up on TV. Stuff that I've never even heard of. Like, I'm like, we need to one weekend, we're going to sit down and watch Star Wars. And you're going to actually be like, that actually is pretty good. I guarantee it. They really gave you a lot in this trailer, too. I mean,
Star Wars, 1 billion years in the making, and it's coming to your galaxy.
I think it explodes right here, doesn't it? Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Years in the making.
And it's coming to your theater this summer. Dr. Squatch chimed in. One, fantastic. And who isn't a Tom Line fan? Tom Line will be so happy to hear that. And then somehow my wife hadn't heard about Chuck. So Rule the Galaxy just broke the news to her. I am so sorry, Mrs. Squatch. I didn't. Mrs. Dr. Squatch. Yes. So sorry. Didn't mean to break the news. Spoiler alert next time. We'll preface any death before we say it on the show.
See, I spend too much time on the internet. I'm pretty sure I saw that Chuck Norris died within like 2 minutes of it being posted.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I need to tell my friends. It was one of those guys.
So I've got it to where we had a link that I sent everybody because I found an article about in Mando and Grogu. There's going to be some explanation about Hutt sex. I'm going to save that for the time when Brent's on the show because it is definitely a topic that Brent has been wanting to discuss for years here. It's the reproductive things of Hutt. So I'm marking that off. We're not going to hit that. But let's see. Next thing. are we buying or selling? Are we believing? Is it dripping or tripping? John Boyega confirms that Finn is in return talks with Filoni. I mean, I've heard that, but I've also heard that he was really ticked off and said Disney doesn't know how to treat a character like him.
I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he does come back, because to me, if Finn is coming back, if he's coming back, to me, it would be in this Hunt for Ben Solo movie. I don't think the Rey movie is ever going to happen. That was announced how many times, talked about how many times. We haven't heard anything about it. I don't think that's going to happen. I could see the Hunt for Ben Solo. I don't know. Would I mind it? No, I wouldn't mind it, you know? And maybe some time away from Star Wars, they come back to it and they can have a little bit more love for what they tried to do with the sequel trilogy. It's like I've never held anything against the actors or actresses in the sequel trilogy. So
me either.
Yeah, the higher ups have been on the record saying they rushed it. They didn't need to. So it would be cool to see them, kind of take their time and try to write a good story for them.
I agree. Get the right writers, the right director, and you let real quick, I'll hit these two things in 1 second, but you let them sit back and actually take some time and put some stories together. I'm fine with the Rey movie. I'm fine with Finn being back. I'm fine with the search for Ben Solo. I'll take any of that if it's done the right way. Wanted to play catch up real quick. When you and I were talking baseball, Dr. Squatch, y'all ever go to Cooperstown? Joey and I went to Cooperstown twice for baseball tournaments there. Some of the greatest things you could ever do, but also some of the most expensive baseball you can ever play. So, D-Doc, when your son is in his 12-year-old season, be prepared for that. And then, hey, Jason Hatfield. Hey, boys, just got home. Went to see Project Hail Mary. Amazing. Well, Jason, we were just talking about that. So I'm glad that's another person who has told us that. So we're cruising on the Project Hail Mary.
That's and I got to give a shout out to Jason. I mean, I messaged him and thanked him, but I just want to thank him again while he's here for sending me that Back to the Future Lego set. I haven't built it yet because I'm a Lego builder that just holds it off for the right moment. I'll probably watch Back to the Future while I build it because I haven't watched Back to the Future for a long time, and that was a movie that I saw when I was like 5 years old, and I just thought it was the coolest movie ever. So I'm excited to build that. I really appreciate it. I am impressed with how you rebag your Lego sets and you numbered them and everything. Like it's impressive. You have patience because I've thought before about breaking down my sets, and I just don't know that I have the patience to do it. So I'm really impressed with it. I'm excited about it. You even gave me the minifigures too. I'm like, he at least needs to sell like the minifigures. If he's like sending this out to me, I mean, it's a really nice gesture. I really appreciate it.
You know what? We're not the big guys in the Star Wars podcast. We're just guys who have fun and made some friends, but we have definitely made some great friends with people like Dr. Squatch and Jason and Adam Parker and a handful of others. So I'm not trying to leave anybody out. Just had to get in your hands before I forgot. You are very welcome. Jason's a great guy. And yeah, so speaking of Legos, have you bought any of the Smart Bricks plans or projects? And I think you are exactly right. The Vader bust looked really cool. The Yoda bust looked freaky as could be.
I know. And you know what? I told myself when I saw those, I'm like, I can't get into those because with the helmet collection, it was the first Lego series where I was like, I became a completionist on it, where I wanted to have every single one, which I never overpaid or bought any of them on the secondary market. I really snagged a lot of them when they went on sale, but people are saying this means the end of the helmet series, which means I completed it, which I'm fired up about that. But I just watched M&R Productions. He somehow got a Vader bust already and did a review on it. It's not even out yet. The man gets Lego sets before Lego themselves even build it. So shout out to M&R. I just watched him review that Vader bust and it looks amazing. And I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna buy it because it looks too good. And you know what? The price per piece doesn't make sense, but it's $50. It comes with the Vader minifigure, and you can position the body on it and turn the head so it can look like Vader's like standing like a different way.
Nice.
It's a really nice looking model. So I'm probably gonna get into it. I mean, but when those go on sale, those are gonna be awesome sales on those, because if you can snag the Vader for $40 and the Yoda for $30, then maybe that is a line to get into if they can keep to that price point, because they were saying that dude, I want M&R on here so bad. I could talk to him forever.
Hey,
I mean,
go ahead.
I watched him when he was younger, and my wife would be like, are you watching like a kid reviewing Legos? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like 17 years old or something, but I'm like, this kid knows Lego. Like, I've been watching him like since YouTube was a thing. He was like the first Lego review guy I tuned in for, and he's a funny guy. He's had a lot of success, and I'm happy to see the success that he's had. He kind of holds Lego accountable. A lot of people hate him for that, but you need someone to hold these companies accountable when it comes to these things. But yeah, I'm probably going to be getting into the bus set.
Well, not only did Dr. Squatch mention M&R and say, he needs to be a guest with you. I would be more than happy to have him on. He's also excited for the Mando sets, which they did have some nice Mando sets for Lego. So pumped about those as well. And D-Doc, there's a guy who I think you said you've watched on YouTube, Froggy Flips or Flippy Frogs or something like that. You remember he does like toy collecting. He does blacks. I mean, like, he's a big collector. Maybe it was Alfie or Brent who watched him. I think it was Brent. It was Brent who watched him.
Okay.
My Uncle Matt is buddies with him. He's friends with him. And they did a show in Indiana a few weeks back that I missed. But yeah, I have a feeling we could probably try to get him on here as well to go along with M&R, because Matt knows everybody. So yeah, and here's Jason Hatfield. See, we're going back to the baseball. Dr. Squatch, hey, Cooperstown is amazing. It is. It's a wild ride up there. So
I would love to go to Cooperstown. It's not that far away technically from me, and my uncle-in-law, I just call him my uncle, his son, who's now been drafted into the MLB. I remember he has played tournaments up there. But yeah, let me bring this up real quick on the screen here, and you can see how. And shout out to M&R here.
I think looks beautiful and can do maybe a bit more than you would imagine. So when it's on the display stand here, it can be swiveled, so you can just turn it and have
that
it
is cool.
in a completely different direction, which can look a bit silly until you realize you can turn the head. Now it actually could make for a compelling display to change it up a little bit if you.
I mean, it comes with the minifigure too, so it's like this is the thing is they said the helmet collection was called the helmet collection, and with Star Wars, you're going to run out of characters when you're doing a helmet collection. Them creating that Yoda shows that we can do this with any character. So you could have a Darth Maul in this series. You could have a lot of different characters that don't require it to just be a helmet sitting on a stand.
What if they did an entire Sith series?
Oh,
you have Bane and Revan, and I mean, you could do.
They'll make money.
Gosh, Maul. You're right. That would be an incredible, just the bus series.
And the draw, you get a minifigure with it too. So you're adding to your minifigure collection while you're adding this nice displayable, bus to your collection. I mean, a Rex one would look awesome because you would have the clone arm, like you would have his like pauldron on his clone armor involved in it. You know what I mean? It would just, you can really you can really do a lot with it. So
Dr. Squatch, the size noodles bust. Max, just do the whole Max Rebo band. Can you imagine? Did they have that set in Legos? That'd be great.
yeah, that would be awesome. You could do Dex from Dexter's Diner, a bust of Dex.
We could get Ula, the dancer from Return of the Jedi, who we've interviewed, and see if she'd sign that. So that would be something right there.
Yeah, they can go anywhere with it. I mean, it depends. It depends when you see the Yoda, like what the eyes look like on it. You know,
can you pull up the Yoda and show everybody that again?
Yeah,
because it is spooky. So they definitely have to do something about that. Wow, as long as it was Ula busting. Thank you, Jason. Yes. Gosh, man, thinking about that, they could do a little bit of everything. That's pretty cool. I like that idea. So D-Doc, you were big on, I saw the article, Disney exits partnership with OpenAI. Well,
yes,
that is kind of what
I looked up. I looked up Lego Yoda bust, and this was the first image that came up. I should have known when I looked that up, but yeah.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah. So the eyes, I saw an angle of it where it didn't like. I think it's this angle where it doesn't look that strange from that angle. It's
right
really
when you
just
go
when
head
you look
on.
at it head on.
Yeah.
And they've had that issue with some of the Grogu Legos they've done where they've tried to put these eyes on it where they just look a little odd. And I think that's a challenging thing to, I'm not trying to say that it's easy to make it because it's hard to just throw eyes on a Yoda or a Grogu. So that's
definitely the one
definitely
down there. Yeah. There's a larger one. Yeah.
It's interesting. Oh. Yeah. I mean, there's a good, it doesn't look that bad there. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. Exactly. It's like they 100%. Peeled the skin off the face of an animatronic, yes. And it's like malfunctioning. Yeah, it's a little strange, but
it's a little unnerving. I wouldn't want to have that bust like on a night table or an end table by my bed and wake up to that being nearby.
Just looking at you.
Set your alarm clock to go off with Yoda's voice and have that right there.
Late for work you are.
There we go.
Sorry, I clicked it when you clicked it at the same time.
That's
Those
all
eyes
right.
mess with me.
The Star Wars Closet. I think that's the first comments from the Star Wars Closet. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to the show.
So yeah, let's talk about OpenAI and the partnership with Disney. You were like, good, get rid of it. What are your thoughts on that? Because I haven't paid that much attention to it.
Disney made a $1 billion deal with OpenAI to give them access to all of their IPs. And they were like, we're going to let people create AI videos and like, we're officially licensed with them. And people are going to make AI content with officially licensed Disney characters. And it can be whatever story you want. And we can even put it on Disney Plus or whatever. And it's like, people are rejecting that. They don't want it. They want it made by the artists who make it. And I mean, I don't know. Sure, you can have fun things with AI, but I think AI is getting to the point where these companies need to make a profit. It costs a ton of money. And I think they're like, I don't know the reason why Sora, the app with them, went out of business. I don't know why, because people used it a lot. My thoughts is they're like, these are expensive to run and it's a lot of work for these AI videos to be created. Do we really need this? No, we don't need it. So I just think it's a good thing for creativity that it's like, you want to have fun with AI, fine, go ahead. But I don't know. I think AI is a great tool, but I don't think I hate it when it comes to the artistic realm and creating things.
See, I'm with you. And by the way, Star Wars Closet, I was giving a thumbs up. They said they just subbed, so thank you.
Appreciate it.
So don't want to put any thing on you there, but thank you, Star Wars Closet. But I'm big. believe it or not, at 54, I'm one of the younger people in management and executive management where I work. And so I'm into it, right? Like I'm into AI, but I'm using it as a thing to help me work smarter, work faster, get more things done, set my computer up to where it's doing this work for me
Yeah.
instead of me doing the work. I tell it what to do, boom, it's getting things done, reports, emails, follow up, all this kind of stuff, research. It does it for me. Then I compile that and I run with it. And I do see benefits to it in the business world. I I probably tend to agree with you to where I'm not sure. I mean, if it's some guy who's like, hey, I'm going to do this and throw it up on Twitter or whatever, fine, just have some fun with it. But I don't want to replacing real entertainment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun when Alfie sends us the goofy videos that he always finds of something AI related to Star Wars. I'm like, that's cool. I mean, it's fun, but I want the creatives to be creative and for that work to be the real work. But when it comes to work stuff, yeah, work smarter, not harder, and let it do some work for you. But that's just my 2 cents on AI.
Yeah, and what you're describing too, you're still driving the vehicle that is the AI. You are telling it what to do, and there's also a skill in getting it what you want it to do as well. It's like
Yep.
there's ways where you need to have that knowledge to type to it what you want it to do, where it's like say you're getting it to create some type of Excel spreadsheet. I don't have the knowledge of Excel. So me telling it to do it, it's probably not going to do it as well as it would do for you because you
Yeah.
have that knowledge. And that's what drives me nuts is where they're like AI is going to replace, these industries or whatever. And it's like people are always going to want to. It
Yeah.
is human nature that people want to see someone created by a human. They want to interact with a human. It's like
Yep.
if you're on customer service and you're dealing with a robot, what are you thinking the entire time? I just want to talk to somebody. You
Correct.
know what I mean? So those are things that I just don't think in the human race you could ever replace. So I don't know. I'm glad it sunk. I'm not a full on AI hater, but and I've messed with AI plenty of times myself, where I make a funny picture or whatever, but
Right.
I just don't think when it's at that level, it should be used for that.
I agree. Our Twitter feed for Rule the Galaxy right now, our logo on there is an AI picture of our logo with drawings made up of me, you, Brent, and Alfie. That
Yeah.
I just said, hey, I gave him like 4 pictures of each of us. It created an AI generation of each one of us, and
And
boom,
it's a cool picture.
it is. Makes me look, young and handsome and have hair and all that kind of stuff. I was reading something the other day that Timothy Zahn said that the Thrawn books that I love so much, that original Thrawn trilogy that came out in 91, 92, 93, that really behind the scenes, that was basically the test for George Lucas and for Lucasfilm and Star Wars to say, is there is there a need or want for a next round of movies? Because they said, okay, it'd been since 1983 since anything came out. I mean, the Ewok movies, things like that. So in 1989, I think they started talking about it. 1990, I think he was writing it and released it in 1991. He said it was kind of like the test balloon. Send it up, if it does well and numbers do well, then George will say, hey, yeah, I think it's, his people will be like, we can make more movies now. There's still enough love out there for it and everything. And so to hear that was pretty cool to think about that. Well, one, for somebody like me, I'm thinking, of course, there was plenty of people who wanted Star Wars in, but for them as a business and as a company to think we need to test this, I guess they're lucky they picked the right guy and the right story to put it out there, because it took Star Wars fans like on a whirlwind when it came out. But I thought it was just really cool. That was kind of the test. And then once that happened, they're like, well, now let's raise the funds. Let's re-release the movies in special edition so we can build up a stockpile of money to be able to make the prequels, right? So it was all kind of a step and a pattern to make it happen. I thought that was really cool to hear that that's kind of how it worked, because I just thought they were making books, but
Yeah.
but that was the story behind it. So
when we went to get the baseball bat, there is a Barnes and Noble in that shopping center, and the kids wanted to go. Well, I just had David and Harper with me, which it was kind of easier being out with the older kids, just the
Yes.
2 older kids, because I could keep them kind of locked in. But we went to Barnes and Noble, and I know where their Star Wars section is there, and we were just like, look, they were just like interested in the titles. They had like that Mace Windu book, which like the cover art looked awesome on that. They had the one which I can't think of the name. It's the one that has Asajj Ventress in it.
Dark Disciple.
Cover art on that looks awesome.
Great book.
But they had the Thrawn book from Timothy Zahn, and I was like, David was like, oh, there's a Thrawn book, and I was like, our podcast has met the guy who wrote this book. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, we've met him at conventions multiple times, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, pretty cool, right? But yeah, it is just wild to think that like from doing this podcast, it's like you're in a Barnes and Noble and there's a book, and we've met the author from that book.
And we've met the guys the guy who narrates the book on the audiobook, and Mark Thompson, and we've interviewed the lady who the book was written about, Nika Futterman, who played Asajj Ventress. So I mean, just in those 2 books right there alone, we got pretty good connections on all that. So I just can't wait to meet Zahn again, to get my Heir to the Empire from Italy, my Italian copy signed by him. I'm going to see if he'll write Chow from Timothy Zahn. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped about that. Do you want to take a quick break here and hop, we'll just stop for a second, take a breath, get ourselves caught up, and then restart up? Or are we good? We'll just take everybody, we're going to stick right here. We're just breaking. We'll be back soon. This is going to be a break for the podcast. The YouTube channel will keep going. So this was chapter 367 of the Rule of the Galaxy podcast. So until next time, may the Force be with you.